Hatsune Miku has been performing live via hologram for years, but she's done very few tours in the United States. So when the 2024 North American tour was announced, I was finally gonna get to see the Miku hologram in person. Except $500 to watch TV
LG Smart TV.
This feels like a scam! Well, despite all the commotion, I still went to Miku Expo, and I, like many others, am disappointed. And I have a lot to say about the screen. So first of all, Hatsune Miku is the mascot for a software called Vocaloid, which is basically text-to-speech, but you can make the voices sing. This kind of software has been around for decades. Miku herself has been around since 2007. She's incredibly popular worldwide, and she's been performing live in hologram form since 2010. And while we call it the Miku hologram, it's not a hologram at all. There are not actually any real holograms yet. A hologram being defined as a 3D projection. That's not a thing anyone can do right now. What Live Miku actually is a really technologically advanced version of a Pepper's Ghost. A Pepper's Ghost is an old magician's trick that involves using a dark background and a spotlight to reflect a subject onto a transparent reflective surface. The Miku hologram works similarly, except she's coming out of a projector or multiple projectors that are being projected onto a piece of acrylic. This effect has been perfected by a company called R3 Systems, who are the people that usually do the Miku hologram. And apparently, Miku isn't even a pre-rendered video. She's actually rendered out in real time so that they can have her kind of interact with the audience on the fly. R3 notably is a Japanese company, but on their website, they do have footage of the Lady Gaga tour that Miku was also a part of, and I'm pretty sure that also happened in North America, so it's not like they don't do this system outside of Japan. And I don't know this for sure. Another thing that R3 seems to keep as a consistent style is they have these big cube LEDs that like react in time with the music, and those were a part of the set design for the North American tour, but I don't know if that is the North American tour trying to replicate the R3 style or the North American tour choosing a cheaper option of R3's available systems. I don't know. What I do know is that when the tour was announced, me and everybody else was expecting this Miku Expo to include the R3 Miku hologram. And as the first leg of the tour started, people found out for the first time that we weren't getting the Miku hologram. Looking at tweets posted around the time the show was starting, there were a lot of people just excited to see Miku in any capacity. But I can imagine how shocking it must have been to go into this concert expecting to see the cool hologram and realizing that Miku was trapped inside an LED screen. People were mad. Jokes about having Miku Expo at home abounded. Accusations of being cheap as hell got thrown around. People immediately point out that the background elements of the stage completely hinder any illusion effect. And the feeling that everybody just paid money to go sit and watch TV together could not be forgotten. When I went to a Twice concert, I overheard two staff members saying, "It's sold out, and I have never heard of these girls before." And like, this is already a pretty niche thing to be into as an adult. I could have at least been going to see something that was technologically impressive. But no, I have to sit here and think that the staff probably thought that all of us were very strange, but that's okay. Anyway, you know you up when people start to compare your event to the DashCon ball pit. Some people were fine with it, some people were super disappointed, but somebody started a change.org petition for refunds, and we were all kind of hoping against hope that maybe this was just a Vancouver thing, and maybe they would have the Miku hologram for the rest of the tour. But then Portland came around, and it was still the screen, and eventually Miku herself had to make a statement to let everybody know that while they appreciate the fan feedback, the LED screen was there to stay. My gut reaction to knowing that I had paid money to go to elementary school movie day was disappointment. But I thought maybe there's an upside to it being an LED screen. Maybe you can see her better on an LED screen. And I understood why people were trying to get refunds, especially at the first show, but I was still gonna go and I was still gonna try to have a good time. April 30th. Atlanta! Leg of the tour. This concert for me was a lot of good and a lot of bad. When we pulled up, there were tons of people already in costume, which was just amazing. It felt like being at a giant fandom meetup at an anime convention. Hologram or not, I wanted to look and smell my best to see my virtual waifu. I wore my new Synth V Teto jacket, but there is one fragrance that I have always wanted to try that had to be the thing that I smelled like while in the presence of Miku. Versace Bright Crystal. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but I swear, like 5 years ago, every beauty YouTuber wouldn't shut up about Versace Bright Crystal, and I wanted to try it so bad, but I could never justify paying that much money for it. But with Scentbird, I finally got to try it. It's in my hands. And honestly, it smells a little like mid-2010s-y, if that makes any sense. Like, it takes me back to that era. It's nice, but I don't know if it's what I want to smell like. But I also got from Scentbird this month, I'm Expensive by Deck of Scarlet, and this, it does smell expensive. I'd never heard of this scent before, but I love it. It's got like a pistachio note to it. And apparently I just like the smell of nuts because my last favorite from Scentbird was like an almond smell. I don't know what that says about me. Scentbird is just a great way to try out new scents and smell expensive without spending a whole bunch of money because they send you new scents every month for just $17. And you can get the big name holy grail scents that you've never gotten to smell or find scents that you've never heard of and end up loving. And they have an entire spectrum of scents from masculine to feminine to gender neutral, and you'll never end up spending a ton of money on a fragrance you don't end up liking. You get a good amount of perfume too, and you get the cool magnetic lock packaging that keeps it from going off in your pocket. Plus, you can get an even better deal when you use my code 55Spaceman or use the QR code on screen, which gets you 55% off your first month of Scentbird, which makes it just a little under $8. A big thank you to Scentbird for sponsoring this video, and while Miku doesn't have a functioning nose, I hope that this Teto and Domino's Miku thought that I smelled good. Honestly, the worst part was not even the LED screen. Because while it started as a lovely day with the general admission line spanning through the backside of the parking lot, as the line got longer, some clouds got closer. I don't know if it's gonna rain on us, but it might be raining on those people. It's definitely raining. The line has moved. Oh God, those people are gonna get wet though.
Do you want to go run under the thing?
No, I'm okay. Holy shit. And what started as a trickle turned into a downpour. Cosplayers were hiding under awnings, the security tables were turning into kiddie pools. We got pretty soaked, but we were nowhere near the back of the line, and the back of the line had to have gotten drenched. But they all still waited in the rain, even though we all had a month's worth of warning that we were paying to go see a TV together, but we didn't know what it would look like yet. Maybe it would be worth getting drenched for. I don't know if it was. First of all, the stage had a couple things going on with it. So it had these large cube LED things a la the R3 style. It had a couple of like static light boxes that would flash on and off. It had a couple smaller LED screens on the sides and above doing complementary graphics. The stuff I would have called jump backs when I did event graphics. Did I mention that I used to professionally do event graphics? This is a little bit of an art critique. Anyway, finally at the center, the centerpiece being the large rectangular LED screen. When it was off, it was hard to tell that it was even there with the smoke being pumped into the room, so I had a little bit of hope that it might actually blend in with the rest of the stage, but when they brought on Miku and the crowd absolutely roared for our favorite electronic girly, it did become very clear at that point that there was absolutely no effort to try to make it look like anything but a big LED screen. And to be fair, to play devil's advocate, I do legitimately think that there might be some legitimate creative reasons why you might want to do Miku with an LED screen. That sounded okay. First of all, an LED screen is just inherently always going to be brighter than any projection. And in a large stadium, maybe that means people can see Miku better, but I don't think they care about that. And this is a critique of all Miku live performances, because the thing is they put Miku on the screen at her canonical height, and she is smaller than Georges. I think she's like 4'11". She's 5 foot nothing, and she's not a real person. So if they cared about making it so everyone could see her, they would make her like 10 feet tall. But no, they have to make her 5 feet tall. They don't care about that. So that's not a legitimate reason for the LED screen. Okay, if they cared about that, they'd make Miku bigger. Make Miku bigger! But also, not having to have several projectors means you could probably do more interesting graphics on a larger span and have more graphics surrounding Miku. And they did have a little bit of extra cool little graphics that came up when she was performing. There was this one cool plexus animation. They had a couple particle effects, but that was about it. The other thing is that LEDs are not limited to just being a giant TV screen looking thing. Like, you can have segmented LEDs, you can have LEDs covering an entire building. So I don't know why they went with the tiny rectangle, but also the fact that they literally had a smaller LED screen than what Holiday Matsuri, an anime convention, had for their main stage. When I performed in their costume contest, they had a bigger LED screen at an anime convention. And we were in a pretty small stadium, and we were courtside, and we both thought that she looked kind of tiny on that little screen. So I can't imagine how this must have looked in a giant venue like Coachella. But let's say we have to use LED screens, and let's say it has to be that size. Why not camouflage the edges of it? Maybe something as simple as a velvet curtain. So maybe just big giant Miku-shaped cutouts beside it. I will say, there was this one moment in the show where on the LED screens, they had put these fake speakers in front of Miku on the screen. And this was the only time it halfway looked like the illusion kind of worked, because she could walk behind the speakers, and then she also could walk up and put her feet like on the speakers. And I didn't get this part on camera, but there was a part where they like took the spotlight and pointed it directly at the LED screen at this one moment in the music. And for a second, it kind of looked like Miku was there. But that was the only time they added an extra element to the screen that made the illusion actually work. They only did it for one song. But the best thing they could have done to conceal the screen is something that the R3 Miku does by nature. The reason this looks so different, the reason this looks so wrong and jarring, is because you can't see the stage behind her. She is in a black void, and when the R3 Miku is on stage, you can see the stage by nature. But the dumbest thing is that they could have done this with the LED screen. They could have put a camera on the back of the screen and fed the image into the render, or better yet, if she's a pre-rendered video, put her on alpha and put a picture of the back of the stage from the right perspective behind her. It might look kind of weird from a specific angle, but they didn't even sit anybody at the really close angle, so it wouldn't matter. And it especially doesn't matter because the R3 Miku has always been a 2D image. It has and always will look a little bit weird from the side. But if you aren't going to use the cool technology, you could at least fake it better? You might think that none of this matters because Miku's not a real person. But this is something a lot of us have wanted to experience for years. Even if it's not a real hologram, we wanted to see the magic trick. And the magic trick can be done with LEDs if you try to do it. The Peppers Ghost works so well and is exciting because you can see the backside of the stage. That's the part that makes it an illusion. And the other thing that is so jarring is that LED Miku is missing a huge part of what makes a Miku performance so magical. Do you see it? Miku is never alone on stage. She is always surrounded by the reflection of a sea of light sticks. The light sticks are a big thing for Miku, okay? They're a big thing for J-pop performances in general. They're so big now that they're part of K-pop culture too. They add such a fun crowd interactivity element, and it's even more cool at Miku Expo because the official Miku Expo light sticks sync to the performance. Before Rin even got on stage, all of the light sticks had turned orange. Another weird thing about how this was run was there was a message on the website that was like, you cannot come in with any branded light sticks because the real light sticks are synced up to the music. So you having a fake one will ruin the show. But I didn't even know about the rule, and I walked in with 3 unbranded light sticks on my hip and nobody stopped me. Anyway, with Miku standing alone on stage in her black void, for me, the crowd was the star of the show. I found myself more interested in watching the VIP section go crazy with the light sticks and throw plushies into the air. And let me tell you, the energy in the room when they played World Is Mine, that is what I came for. Through rain and through leaky roofs and with a basketball mural in full view. That made it worth it. The crowd was worth going for. Overall, I did have a really good time and it was really fun. Despite the disappointment of not getting to see a hologram, the crowd really made it fun, and I did have a good time because of that. Ultimately, I don't know why they made the change to the LED screen. The answer is probably money, but I don't really care why, because lest we forget, Miku is not a real person. It's not like they have to pay Taylor Swift's salary to the star. The whole budget can go to the technology and the band and the set pieces, but I don't see where any of that money went. And I paid my ticket money because I wanted to see the Miku hologram. I wanted to witness with my own eyes the magic trick that I have been watching 720p videos of on YouTube for 10 years. This was my first chance to see her live. I think this might have been her first time in the state of Georgia. I don't know if that's true, but to have the magic trick be replaced by somebody wheeling out a giant CRT was disappointing. I'm disappointed. We're all disappointed. And all I can do is add to the ruckus and make this video and scream, please bring back the hologram! If you went to Miku Expo, let me know what you thought. Did you want a refund or did you have a really great time? Was your crowd also hype and cool and awesome? Or were you all very sad and disappointed by the screen? And I have to give a huge, massive thank you to my dear friend Pins, who went and dug through Twitter to find all the tweets for me because I literally don't know how to use Twitter. So a huge thank you to Pins of Pinssnipcosplay, who you should go follow on Instagram. Thanks again to Scentbird for sponsoring this video, and remember you can use my code 55Spaceman to get 55% off your first month of Scentbird. And if you want to support the channel directly, you can check out my Patreon where you'll get some exclusive content, but if you're just watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sending the video to a friend or your mom, or subscribing, please subscribe, then you're supporting the channel too, so thank you. And I have one more plug. I will be at MomoCon at the end of May. I'm a guest and I will have a booth there, and I have little charms that I'm selling at my booth, 2 from already done merch designs, and then I have a brand new design, sometimes requested, X-Acto knife bitch merch, except it doesn't say X-Acto knife because I'm not trying to get copyrighted. Anyway, come see me at MomoCon and come to my panels and stuff. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Bye! And a big thank you to my newest big support tier patrons, Shibby Koss, Fairy Empress, Kostek Alice, Az, Bun, Nitello, Dana, Breaded Nuggets, Shra Neg, Axolotl Cosplay, and Miss Darth Vader.